Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's another day, another beautiful day to be here, to be talking to you guys. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for being here and you're so much welcomed into this channel. Feel at home. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back, and you always loved, you're always appreciated. So on today's vlog, it's gonna be a little different. I barely do this stuff about me in the military, so today I decided why not. Since I am getting out soon in November of this year, I decided to do this video because I think this might be the only chance that I have before I take this uniform off and before I put it down. So let's begin this video and see what I have in store for you. So stay tuned and feel at home. So today's video is gonna be a little different. It's gonna be about me talking about my journey in the military, about my career in the military, and how it's been so far. So I'll just give a brief description or a brief journey, and then I will answer some of the questions that I get asked a lot on my TikTok or on my Instagram in the DMs, and I will answer them here. So this will be good. This will be the only chance I believe that I have before I get out, before I put this uniform down and all that stuff. So I'm gonna answer as many questions as I can, and if I'll not cover them here, I will check how you guys are responding to this video, and then maybe I will do a part 2 of this. So for those who don't know me, my name is Ruth. I am a Kenyan based in the US, in the US Navy. Yes, in the US and in the US Navy. I have to emphasize on that because I get a lot of people asking me about stuff about the Army, stuff about the Air Force, and I'm like, you guys can see this. You can see, or can you see it? You can see here, it says the US Navy. But people still ask me about the Army, the Air Force, and I'm like, bro, you guys can see this uniform. No other branch has this kind of uniform apart from ours. Anyways, I came in the US back in 2021 in July, and by November of the same year I was already in the Navy. And then I went to my school. I went to school in San Antonio, and then after that I went to my first duty station in San Diego, and my last duty station, which is here in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So those are like four or five parts of my journey and how it's led to this. So when we joined together with my sister back in 2021, and then we went to training, which is usually in Great Lakes in Chicago, for 2 months. It was for 2 months. I went on November 14, 2021, and by January 14 I was already done with the training. And then after that is when I went to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio for my training. I am a medic, or as you can call it, my rate is HM, which means hospital command. So that is my job in the Navy. You always pick your job before you go in for your training in boot camp. So my training in Fort Sam was for 4 months. And then after that, I went on leave, like a two weeks break, and then I went to my first duty station, which was in San Diego, California. My favorite place. I love San Diego, California. I love the weather, I love everything, but I don't like how expensive it is. Anyways, I was attached to a ship called the USNS Mercy. It's a hospital ship, and then if the ship is not going on deployment, if the ship is not doing any kind of underway is when the ship goes out to the sea, just to like make sure that everything is running, that everything is good, and that it is ready to deploy. If we were not in the ship during any of those times, we would be in the hospital. So I was put in a cardiac ward where I worked from June of 2022 to October of 2024. in October of 2024 is when we went on deployment for 4 months. We went to Hawaii, we went to Guam, we went to Chuuk, we went to Solomon Islands, we went to Palau, and there was one more island which I don't remember because I didn't go there. Not some of the people got picked from the ship to go there, but the ship itself didn't get there. Just some people got picked. So I think that's why I can't remember the name. So it was called like a Pacific partnership because all these islands are in the Pacific. So our main point or our main reason for going was in Solomon Islands, where we saw a lot of patients. Okay, in all of these islands, not all of them, in Solomon Islands, in Chuuk, and in Palau, we got to see patients. But the patients, or where we got so busy, was in Solomon Islands. They had some games that were going on, so I believe that was the main reason why we went to go, to just create that relationship between the US and its outlying islands. So we went there for 4 months, and by February of 2024 we were already back. So I was supposed to PCS. PCS is where you like move from one duty station to another. I was supposed to PCS in June. I was supposed to go to a training with the Marines called the FMTB. That is where the HMs get to train, combat training kind of, with the Marines, just in case there's a war. We have to go, since we're the ones who provide the medical assistance to them. We have to, like, you know, be trained for this. But I didn't go for that training because I got an injury, and then after the training I was supposed to go to 29 Palms, so I didn't go to that either. So my orders had to be changed because I was gonna go to 29 Palms only if I went to this FMTB training, but that didn't happen, so they had to change my orders, and that's how I found myself here in Gitmo. I got here in October of 2024, and I'll be here until November of this year. So my contract, I signed a 5 years contract because of my school. Not all the contracts are 5 years, just so you know. It's mostly the HM school, which is 5 years, because the school takes a little bit longer. So they count 1 extra year as the year that you're gonna be in school. So our contract is 5 years of active duty. Other contracts are like 4 years if you choose another rate. I don't know which other rate does 5 years, but most of the time the contract is usually a 4 years active duty contract. And if you choose the 4 years active duty contract, I believe you're gonna get the 4 years reserve as a reserve. And if you choose the 5 years, or if you take the 5 years, you're gonna have 3 years reserve, because it's a total of 8 years all together. So that is where I am right now. I might be getting off early because I am pregnant. That means I'll be going on my maternity leave before my contract ends. So that means I have that 3 months of maternity leave to like maybe go back to the States, and while I continue to take care of the baby, my contract is gonna just keep, my contract is gonna be almost at the end. So yeah, something like that. So I might be getting out of here probably earlier than November, but I signed my DD-214, the form that you sign that you're getting out, the separation form, or the one that says that you're out of active duty. I signed that in November, and that's when I hit my 5 years. Then after that I'll be doing my reserves for 1 year of active reserves, and I believe the next 2 years will not be active reserves, so I'll just be in standby just in case. But the first year is when I have to like report every weekend, or report twice in, no, not every weekend, my bad, 2 weekends in a month. I don't know how it's done, but I'll see once I get out, something like that. And then the next 2 years, I don't believe that I have to do all of that. Anyways, that is how my journey has been. I have accomplished a lot. I have learned a lot. It has its ups and downs, and you have to appreciate both of them, because if you only have the ups, you're never gonna know how the actual life is. So you have to have both of them. They have to balance somehow. but you appreciate both of them, the ups and the downs. The ups lift you up, the downs teach you something, and those have done a lot for me. So as I get out, I have a lot of experience, especially in my time in San Diego. I had a lot of experience in the cardiac ward. I got to meet a lot of patients, I got to meet a lot of people, I got to experience the whole thing of patient care, because that was my first time doing the patient care thing, and I was so happy about it. And that actually made me choose because when I joined, I wanted to be a nurse, right? But I didn't know what kind of a nurse I wanted to be. But after I went and worked in the cardiac ward, now I know what kind of a nurse I want to be. Like, I know what department I want to be once I become a nurse. So that was the good thing, right? I have during the 4 years, I got my first my first apartment, my second apartment. I bought me a car, which is actually paid off. I actually paid off my car, I think, in the first year I bought it. I got married. I am expecting a baby. Yeah, it's a lot of things that have happened since I joined. Those are all the accomplishments that I have. I've been able to go back home. I've been able to it's been a good journey, honestly, and the downs are there too. I got deployed, which is something personally I didn't want to go for. I've met a lot of people along the way, amazing people who teach you lessons also. So there's a lot of curves. It's not just a straight line in this journey. There's a lot of curves, ups and downs, and that is how my journey has been. I don't know if I've skipped anything, and of course I have skipped a lot of things because it was not gonna be a deep conversation about how my journey has been. Unless you guys have questions about it, I can do another video that goes a little bit deeper, and I have to do this before it's too late, because if I get out of this uniform, I don't think I'm gonna be talking about some of this stuff once I am done wearing this uniform. I don't think that will be the best decision. So that's just a brief description of how it's been. Oh, I got my citizenship too. I got my US citizenship too while I was here in my first year in the Navy. So that's a huge accomplishment, honestly. And that's just a few of the many, and the others, like I said, it was not gonna be a deep conversation about it. So this is what happened. This is why I don't want to go so deep. I recorded a whole video, but I didn't know that my memory card ran out of space. I don't know how. Oh, that's why it's just 32 gigabytes, but I just changed it. But I did a whole talking here, and I didn't know that it wasn't recording, so I'm a little bit disappointed with that. I had talked a little bit of some stuff in there, which I don't feel like repeating here in this video, but I might do a part 2 just in case you guys have questions that you want to know, or some things you want to know. I can do a part 2 of this, but not right now. So the next part of this video was gonna be me answering some of the questions that I get asked a lot, and I have answered them so many times in my TikTok. I've been doing the same videos so many times, and it got to a point where I got so tired because people keep asking the same questions that you've been answering them, and you're like, yo, you gotta go back to some of the videos that I did before, So I stopped answering some of those questions. I actually stopped completely answering those questions. But I will get into some of the questions that keep getting asked all the time, because this is a one video where you can just come back to it. It's not like TikTok where this video is just answering this question, this video is just answering this question. So I hope this is gonna solve that problem from my TikTok account. And I will get into it right away. I'm just gonna get my phone and I will just go through one of the videos that I've done and check the questions that you guys have asked, and we'll go from there. This is why I didn't go so deep into that my journey, because some of these questions will be answered, and I'll be telling you how it was for me. So if you're joining the Navy, so you know it's the Navy, it's the water, you know, you gotta know how to swim. Of the how can someone join? That is one question that I've been getting a lot. How can somebody join? So you can join in a lot of ways. You can join as enlisted, as an officer, as an active duty, as a reservist, as full-time support. So in all of these things, if you're joining as an active duty, if you're joining as a reserves, if you're joining as if you're joining as full-time support, the requirements are the same, because you're all gonna go to the training all the same. So if you're joining, let's say I came as an immigrant, right? I was not a US citizen. So when I came, we came with a green card, with immigrant visa, and then we got our green cards here. If you're joining and you're not a US citizen, you need to have a green card. That's the only way. You're not gonna use your state ID, you're not gonna use just your birth certificate, just your high school transcripts. No, you do need a green card to join if you're not a US citizen. And you also need some of the other documents that you need is your birth certificate. I don't know if they require high school transcripts anymore. I don't think so. That was something that was changed, I think, 2 years ago. So for me, that was something that they needed, because at that time they needed that, the high school transcripts. But or the highest diploma that they needed at that time was a high school diploma. But I do not believe that they require that anymore, as long as you pass your ASVAB. And you have to be between the ages of 17 and 41. 17, if you're joining as a 17-year-old, you need a waiver from your parents to say that yes, he's good to go, she's good to go. But if you're joining from 18, that's just your own personal decision. You don't need a waiver. But if you are joining as a 17-year-old, you need a waiver from your parents that they're good for you to go join. And the maximum age is 41. There's been a lot of changes, but you have to meet the height and weight requirements. Like, you cannot just be short and you're overweight, because how are you gonna be able to do the training? Just like, you have to be fit for the military, right? So your weight and height has to match. You cannot be overweight for your weight, for your height. If you're overweight, they'll have you wait, they'll have you chill until that time comes. Okay, if you're overweight, the first thing when I joined, it was like they go with your weight first, but nowadays they're doing the waist first. But if you're overweight, your waist is not good, it doesn't match, it doesn't meet the minimum requirement, then you're not gonna join. They're gonna have to tell you like, yeah, you have to wait for a little bit and then you will come back. So your weight and your height has to match. Another thing is, you need to have a clean criminal record. You don't need to be involved in gangs. You cannot be affiliated with gangs. Yes, you cannot have a serious criminal record, like, yeah, you somebody, stuff like that. So you have to have a clean criminal record. And also, you cannot have tattoos on your face. You cannot have tattoos on your face, and you cannot have any tattoos that affiliate you with any gang member. What can I say? You cannot have those kind of tattoos that have a very demeaning meaning, like they mean something, they're saying something, stuff like that. So your tattoos, yes, you can have tattoos, but not on your face. On your neck for Navy, I believe it's good, but on your face it is not good. And anywhere else on your body, you cannot have anything that affiliates you to any gang or is demeaning in any way. What else? I think if I can, that's like the main things. Oh, here you go. You have to pass the ASVAB. So the ASVAB is the test that you do so that it can determine what rate you're gonna get in the Navy. or in the Navy. I'm just talking about the Navy, right? So you have to pass the ASVAB. If you want to become like a HM like me, you have to get a higher score to meet that requirement. If you need other jobs, the minimum, I believe they changed. When I was joining, it was like 30, but I believe they changed that to 10 now. I'm not, yeah, I think so, but you have to pass the ASVAB, because the ASVAB determines what kind of job you're gonna be doing in the military. Yes, you have to be, physically, mentally, emotionally fit. You need to have that. At least before you join, you need to be that. So in summary, let's just do this like a real quick. You need to be either a US citizen or a permanent resident. You need to be between 17 and 41. If you're 17, you need a waiver. You need to pass your ASVAB. Your weight and your height must match, or your waistline must match your height. You need to meet the minimum requirement. You cannot be overweight. If your waist doesn't go with your, if your waist is too big for your height, they'll go to your weight. And if your weight is you're too overweight, they'll have to tell you that you have to wait until you meet the minimum requirements. You have to pass the ASVAB. I think I said that. You must not have a criminal record, a serious criminal record. The next question that I get asked, when is the training? The training is always there. Graduation always happened. When it was my time, the graduation was every Friday of every month, every Friday, every week, every Friday. So that means that training is every week. People get shipped every time. There's no like a specific time of is training open for this day, is training open on this month. No, training is always there. You can always join at any time and any month. So there's no specific month for when you can go to training. Another I get asked what ages they want, and I've answered that. When in training, do you guys get paid? Yes, you get paid. As soon as you step your foot into the boot camp, that's when your training starts. That's when you start getting paid. Okay. That's when you start getting paid, as soon as you go into boot camp. So your paycheck starts from that day. Like my paycheck starts from the 14th of November. If I check my LES, so LES is leave earnings statement. So when I enlisted, I checked my LES, and it counted from the 14th of November, and from then henceforth. Like I said, another question is how long does this training take? The training is only for 2 months. Unless when I was getting out, they was saying like they're gonna change it from 8 weeks to 10 weeks, so that's like 2 months and 2 weeks, but I am not sure. It's not a long training, and let me tell you, if I did it, you can do it. If I did it, you can do it. It's that simple, it's that easy. What is your MOS? I believe this is a term that is used in the Air Force or the Army, I'm not sure, but for the Navy we use the word rate. I said my MOS because that is what most people know, is I am a hospital corpsman, I am a medic in the Navy. What's the minimum height? I don't think we have a minimum height. I don't know, because I've seen so many short people. Like I'm like 5'2", right, or 5'1.5", and I check some people and they're so short, and I'm like, I don't think we have a height minimum. Yeah, because I've seen so many short people, but I've never seen dwarfs. That's one thing. I've never seen dwarfs. Swimming. So, forgive me, this is in Swahili. Swimming training hukaa muda gani? That's, somebody asked that. Like I said, this is the Navy. You have to know how to swim. You have to learn how to swim, because when you go to boot camp, there's no way you're gonna go to the next step. You're not gonna graduate if you haven't passed your swimming qualification. And you don't need to be like an expert in swimming. in the boot camp, we do this test in a swimming pool, but you have to jump from like a 10 feet from where you have to jump into the swimming pool. It's like a 10 feet, so that's the first you have to jump from there. So if you're scared of heights, I was scared of heights, so I failed. I knew a little bit of swimming, but I failed because of that. So you have to conquer that fear. You have to like get over that fear for you to pass that. So you have to jump into the swimming pool. You don't have to be like an expert. You don't have to like know all as long as you can float from one end of the pool to the other, you're gonna pass. And then that's it. If you don't pass, they're gonna train you how to swim. There's a baby pool there. I went to that baby pool for like 4 or 5 times, and it was so disappointing because you have to leave your group when you're going back to swimming, and you have to go all the way. So from where you're training, from where you're sleeping to the swimming pool, it's quite a distance, and if they see you walking at times, they're gonna yell at you. So they expect you to be running, so it's kind of so disappointing. So just teach yourself how to swim, even if it's just floating, just anything, just for you to get from one end of the pool to the other, and also conquer that height of that fear of height, because you're gonna have to jump. You have to jump. It's very important. You're not gonna graduate if you pass everything else but you don't pass swimming. You're not gonna graduate. Even if you're like the best at running, you're the best at push-ups and planks, you're not gonna graduate if you haven't passed your training, your swimming training. All right. I answered for the ages. Somebody's asking, what about elite forces in Navy? What kind of training do they do? I don't know anything about the elite forces in the Navy. What kind of questions do they ask during the ASVAB test? So during ASVAB, it's a mixture of different subjects. It has maths, it has English, it has science, and I believe I think I'm forgetting something. It's been 4 years since I did the test. I cannot remember the actual details of the ASVAB, but I know it has maths, it has English, it has science and all that stuff. But it is pretty easy. You can buy a book online and study using the book. So it's another in Swahili, somebody asking, mtu akiwa Navy wanaweza fanya kazi ingine nje. So they're basically asking, if somebody's in Navy, can they do any other job outside of the Navy? Yes, you can, but you have to be cleared by your command. They have to clear you and say, yeah, this is not gonna conflict with the schedule, so they sign you off. But most of the time, so that's how it's supposed to be. Most of the time you're gonna find, if somebody knows their schedule, they're not gonna go through all these steps. So yes, you can do job as long as it doesn't conflict, as long as it doesn't make you miss your actual job, and you know that your actual job, especially if you're on active duty, your actual job is being in the military. If you're reserves, you can do your other jobs because you only report to the command 2 weekends in a month, I believe. Yes, something like that. So yes, you can always do another job. Can they recruit someone with a CS scar? Yes, that's normal. They can do that. It doesn't limit you in any way. It doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't affect the training. It doesn't do anything unless this for medical, unless it's something that actually affects you, they're not gonna take you. Because if it's just a scar, that's normal. People get CS, like you're in the military, you can give birth through CS and they're gonna be okay with that. You can go to training, you can, yeah. So a CS scar is nothing that's gonna limit you. Ukiwa na asthma, when you have asthma, can you join? I'm not sure. The age limit, like I said, is 17 to 41. So that was like, in that video, that's like the main questions that I got. Let me see if I can see from the other video. Okay, this is a good question. What are the benefits of joining the military? Oh, there's a lot of benefits. I don't know why I haven't talked about this. Oh, it's because I was talking about the requirements. But what are the benefits? There's a lot of benefits. So let's say, like for me, I joined as an immigrant, right? So you get that opportunity to be a U.S. citizen in a very short time, like in 2 months. Some people get U.S. citizenship while they're in the training, like in boot camp. In that 2 months, they get their citizenship. But for me, mine took a little bit longer, but that's fine. But just so you know, that is one thing that you're guaranteed. If you're joining for citizenship, yes, you're gonna get it. Either you're joining as active duty or as a reservist. That is one thing that is guaranteed. You're gonna get it. As long as you apply for it, you're gonna get it. Like, go get it. Another thing is about educational benefits. You can go to college debt free because they pay for your college. Like when you hit your 3 years, there's this money, this program that is called TA, tuition assistance. So they're able to provide tuition assistance for you, and you can just give that to the school. You can always use FAFSA, and this is what I do. If you're using both of them, FAFSA and TA, you can use your TA to pay the school, and whatever FAFSA gives you, it's gonna go straight into your pocket. I've gotten a lot of pocket money from FAFSA, so you get to go to school. You don't have to worry about debts because that is covered, and then you don't have to worry about medical insurance. That one is already covered. Mostly, just so I can clarify this, I am talking about active duty most because I'm active duty. I don't know a lot of stuff about the reserves. I think I'll start to know once I get out. But if you're active duty, you have 100% medical insurance, you have dental insurance, you have your education benefits, you can get your citizenship, you're always guaranteed, your pay is always guaranteed. Every 2 weeks you have your pay. You can always advance in ranks, and the more you advance, that means the more money you get. If you have dependents, if you have family members, that means you get dependents, mostly not family members. They have to be your dependents for you to get extra paycheck. So that's one thing. What else? You can always, when you're on leave, it's a paid leave. Like, there's no day that you're not getting paid. So if you're on leave, you're still getting your paycheck. So that's what I'm saying, your pay is guaranteed. Okay. I think, so you cannot ask me, somebody's asking me how much is my salary per month. I'm not gonna talk about salary right here because it is different. It is online. If you wanna find out how much you get paid, just go and Google how much does an A4 in the Navy get, how much does an O1 in the Navy get, how much. Yes, you're gonna find all of that, but I'm not gonna talk about my paycheck on camera with you guys. No. Yeah. So somebody is saying I give them an experience of how my training was. Maybe I can do that. My training wasn't so bad, apart from me failing the swimming and running. I don't like running, so everything else was fine. Is payment required? Yes. No, I didn't say yes to the question. I'm saying this is another good question, because in my TikTok, when people ask this question, I've seen some people, weird people coming to reply to these people asking that, yeah, you can send me and then I'll help you. No, you're not supposed to pay anything. You are not. It is free of charge to join. They actually pay you when you join, because when you're in training, you get paid. So it is their responsibility, not your responsibility to like pay them. No, you're not supposed to pay even a single cent. I didn't pay anything. If you cannot move yourself from one point to another during the training, the recruitment process, they can always move you. Like me, when my sister, when we were joining, we had this recruiter. He would just come pick us up, take us to the station and do our stuff, and then he would drop us home. So he never asked us for any money. He never asked us like, yeah, I took you guys, I had to come pick. No, you don't get to pay anything. You don't get to pay anything. It is free of charge to join. I have surgical scars on my neck. Can I join? Yes, you can. Does height matter? Like I said, I've seen so many short people, I don't think it does, but I haven't seen a dwarf. What if I am mono-eyed? I don't know about that. For how long do you have to stay without seeing your kids? So that is a good question. When you're in training, let's say when you're in boot camp, your family can't come to visit unless it is during the graduation. But during boot camp, which is just 2 months, it's not bad, right? So that's not bad, because this question she's talking about, like, yeah, sometimes I see you guys stay even for a year. There are times like you can stay for a year without seeing your family, but that could be just on you, or you could be on deployment, because some deployments take 9 months. You're deployed for 9 months, so that means during the 9 months, unless you're in a port, your family can come with you in the ship. While you're in the ship, while you're underway, which means you're out in the ocean, you cannot be with your family. But once you hit the port and they allow you to go outside the ship, yes, you can see your family. They can come see you in that country, in that port. But in the ship, no. So let's say you can stay for like 9 months without seeing your family, just in case they don't want to travel to where your ship is, or if the deployment gets delayed to like a year, then yeah, you're not gonna see them for like a year. During your school training, you can see your family, but I think you have to, like, there are some stages that you have to like go through before you start seeing your family, before you start going off base, before you start getting the liberty to go off base. So like in my training, we had those stages. So in stage 1 is you don't get to go off base. You cannot have your family come over. I don't think they allowed family to come over at that time. Yeah, but in some, when you go to like stage 3 or stage 4 is when you can go see your family. You can have the weekend off from school, but just make sure you come back on Monday. By Monday you're back, so you have to come back on Sunday, but they give you that liberty to like see your family, go outside, sleep outside. But during the first few stages, you're not allowed to. So it's not all the time that it takes so long. So because some schools, their school is like 5 weeks. That's so short. And then after that, you go to the fleet, you have all that freedom. You can see your family anytime. You can visit your family anytime. They can come anytime. You can live with them. But when you're in school, you cannot live with your family. The academic qualification, like I said, when I joined, the highest diploma that they needed at that time was a high school diploma. Unless you're joining as an officer, you need to have a degree. Yes, and you need to be a US citizen if you're joining as an officer. That's a disclaimer. If you're joining as an officer, you have to be a US citizen and you have to have a degree. Can you apply? It's in Swahili, but I'm translating in English. Can you apply when you're serving another country's military? You cannot do that. That is just common sense, right? You cannot do that. Like you have a contract with that country. You have your allegiances to that country. You have signed. You have what is it called? You owe your allegiance, right, to that country. So you cannot apply for another military where you're serving for another country. That's just common sense. That's gonna conflict. It's gonna, if you're done with your contract, then you can come and join. Because I knew somebody who was in the Kenyan Navy and he's now in the US Navy. So you can do that, but not while you have an active contract with that country or a contract that is not done with that country. You cannot serve 2 masters. How much are you paid? I'm not saying that. Are you paid monthly or hourly? We're paid every 2 weeks. Training is in 2 weeks. Oh, training is in 2 months. Oh, 2 months and 2 weeks. Can I go to the field or fight? Is there an age limit when joining? Yes, it's 17 to 41. I think I have answered most of these questions. There's a lot of courses. Some people ask, can you go to school while you're in the military? Yes, Yes, that's why most of the people join, so that they can go to college, so that they can go to the university. So like for me, I'm almost graduating next month. No, in June I'm getting my first degree, and I got that while serving. So yeah, you can go to school, make your own time to go to school, but you cannot go during, if you're like a enlisted like me, you cannot go, you have to like talk to your command. If it's gonna conflict with your schedule, you have to go talk to your command and see what is gonna work best for you. But yes, you can go to school. I don't know about that question. Kuna mtu amenishowed ati nilipie medical anipeleke Navy na company na sponsor. So you see, I don't think this is true. I don't think there's a company that brings people over here for them to join the military. So this is somebody that is almost getting conned here, and I didn't get to see this message, so I hope she didn't do that. But she's saying that somebody is saying that that all she needs is to pay for her medical, and then the company is gonna bring her here for her to join. No, I don't think that is true. I don't think there's a company that brings people here to join. No. If there's any questions that I haven't answered in a way that you're satisfied, just go ahead and ask them in the comment section and I'll get back to them. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna have to cut this video here. My camera keeps cutting the video. I don't know why. I have enough space on my memory card this time, so I don't know why. I don't want to keep talking here and then it's gonna go off and then it'll be just for nothing. But I am so glad that you're here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. Go ahead and share. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like and comment. And I appreciate you all. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good day and a good week. Bye-bye.